Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And
Good
today I'm talking to
afternoon.
the beautiful Tawanna Sams. Tawanna, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful.
Good,
Thank you for
good.
having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for making the time for me with all the different adjustments. So I'm not going to keep you. I'm going to jump right into this today. Tell
All right.
everybody what's your name and where you're from.
Well, I am Tawanna Sams. I come out of Jamaica, Queens, and I also write on the Eva Tremaine. So you'll be hearing Eva and Tawanna on the call today.
Good, 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 good. So first, because there's two things I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about being an author, and I want to talk to you about your business. So first, we're going to
Yes.
talk about you being an author. What inspired you to write?
Yeah. So I started writing back in 2011. I currently belong to a book club, Sugar and Spice Book Club. Love my book club. And we were having a short story contest. And I wrote a short story entitled Unstable. And that's what gave birth to my first book, Unstable, which I published in 2011. And then after that, I just kept writing and I just released my sixth book in December.
Nice. So it's been a few years. Good for you. So what influences your characters? Because I've read Unstable. I read the first and
Yes.
second. I'm reading the third one now. It's a
Okay.
trilogy. And I've read Betrayal. That's it.
Betrayal Served Cold.
Yes, I read that one. So let's talk about Unstable. What inspired that?
Right. So with me, when I write, I have an interesting process. My titles always come to me first, and not the complete title. Normally, I will get one word, which I will build my title and everything around. So when
Okay.
unstable, the word unstable came to me in a dream. I dream a lot. Typically, most of my titles come to me in some form of a dream. That's true for unstable. That's true for betrayal served cold because I received the word betrayal. That's true for even seven again coming full circle. I got the number seven. And then with open, even the word open. So typically my titles come to me first. I do research of the word to start to develop my story. So I never know where the word is going to take me. And then once I define the word and get some background on it, then just start to build my story around it. I have a very vivid imagination. And I don't even know sometimes where these stories come from. Unstable is a trilogy, and it's a very dark, twisted trilogy that just came to me so naturally that when I wrote the first book, I didn't intend to write a book two and three, but because the huge demand and people really gravitated to the story and the characters, two and three just came out of me naturally.
What type of research did you do? Like other than researching the word, did you like do any other research or interview anyone who went through this experience? Like what other
Mhm.
research did you do to put into this character and into this book?
Yeah, so Unstable is about a little girl who goes through a very traumatic event as a child, and as a result, she becomes unhinged and unstable. So when I was doing research for Unstable, and once I decided the background of my story, I started with interviewing a child psychologist, and I spoke to a child psychologist to understand the transition and the mental psyche of a child that would go through such a traumatic event. And then I actually was able to go into a mental institution
Wow.
and to see the environment because I like to be very vivid in my storytelling. So I actually went into a psych ward and spent a couple hours there getting a feel for the environment. Funny story, I lost my badge. And on my way out, the security guard was like, "Well, how do I know you're not a patient?" So true story. I almost got stuck in the psych ward, but I managed to get out. And yeah, so I try to do a lot of research on my topics. If it's something that I'm familiar with, I still do research because I want to make my stories, while entertaining, I want them to be truthful and I want to be able to develop a storyline that's real and not full of flaws because I haven't done my due diligence to research the topic.
Nice. I love it. So right before I told King's Corner on Facebook that we were going to do this interview. So I have a
Uh-huh.
few questions. All right. So
Sure.
Angelica wants to know, she says, my daughter writes, what steps should she use to get in her book published? So what can we tell Angelica?
Yeah, so what I would say is it depends on what her goal is. There's traditional publishing where you pitch your story to a publishing house and you get a book deal. And those are definitely more difficult to come about, but there's definitely possible. There's also the self-publishing route, which is the route that I've taken with all of my novels. And I was very deliberate in making that decision with self-publishing because I have control over my timelines, my covers, my content, and it allows me the freedom of being able to do all the work myself, but being able to do it on my timeline and be able to have the biggest influence on my work. So it's really a decision about what her goals are, and if she wants to take the route of trying to submit her manuscript to a publishing house. I will say that if you do decide to go the traditional um, publishing route, do your research
Hmm.
and make the decision that is most applicable to you and what your goals are. Even with self-publishing, you want to do your research, you want to understand the craft, because there are a lot of pitfalls that you can make as a first-time publisher, such as going with a vanity house, which will eat up all your royalties, and you won't truly own your work if you allow the publishing house to pick your ISBN numbers and things of that nature. So
Wow.
do your research and understand the ins and outs, and then make a decision based on that research, which is best for you, because everyone is different.
Okay. Good. Good advice. Okay, we have a question from Shamika Book. Her
Okay.
question is, what is the most effective marketing tool?
Yeah, so that's interesting. I think prior to COVID, I would have answered that question differently.
Hmm.
And now that we're in the post-COVID, not even post because we're still in it,
Hmm.
I would answer the question differently. So prior to COVID hitting, I would say that my biggest marketing tool was actually being present. And I would go to a lot of literary events in different states, and being present and in rooms where the goal of the buyer is to purchase books is where you have your biggest bang for your buck. Book house, book clubs, and book events are always where you are right in front of the reader and you're really able to sell yourself. I can recall a particular event where I went to a literary event,
Hmm.
and even before I unpacked my table, I sold 37 books to one book club.
Nice.
So that's always going to be your bread and butter. I would say post COVID, with a lot of the literary events being held virtually, now you really have to try to expand your digital footprint. So the tools that I like to use is your obvious social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I use Snapchat as well. I've even started posting videos on TikTok.
I love
It's a
TikTok.
different audience, a younger audience.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to reach your readers everywhere. I've also created a YouTube channel where I post videos and things of that nature. I joined Clubhouse, which is a new networking tool, which is more audio based. And then also just being able, I do a lot of Facebook and Instagram ads to reach people outside of my normal circle. So to answer that, I would say you really need to be able to now in today's world, expand your digital footprint, get your name out there, and never stop promoting yourself. As a self-published author, you are your biggest cheerleader. So you have to continually promote your work, but not just post and say, please buy my book, but tell readers why. What makes you unique? Why should they pick your book out of a million other books? And give the readers something to draw them in. And that's what my biggest advice would be working in this digital world that we're in now.
Okay, now before we move on to your business, tell us, how could we find your books? How could my friends and followers and family, whatever, get a book from you other than from me? How can they get a book from you?
Yeah, so my website, evatremaine.com. That's where you can purchase my books direct. I always ask my readers, please purchase my books directly from my website, because as you know, if you use other websites such as Amazon, then you are cutting into your royalties. So you can buy my books directly from my website, evatremaine.com. They're available in paperback. They're also available in digital form. And from a social media perspective, you can find me on all the social media platforms under evatremaine.com. And before we move on, I want to show you guys my new title, Open, Love, Lust, and Sexuations. This is my new book that was released in December, and this is also available for purchase now.
Okay. Now, I do have to ask this because I know your name is Tawanna Sams. Tell us
Yes.
about your name you write under, the Eva Tremaine.
Yeah, so when I decided, I work in corporate America, I work in the technology industry, which you'll learn about shortly. So when I knew I wanted to write, I decided I wanted to write under what's called a pen name. And it's basically another name that you write on that's not connected with your legal name. So I came up with the name Eva Tremaine. Eva is the name that if you were hanging out and you didn't want to give someone your real name, Eva was always my name.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's how Eva came about.
That was Teresa.
Yeah. Oh, Teresa. Okay. Okay. And Tremaine is actually a combination of my name, my son's name, and my husband's name. So Tawanna, Dre, and Jermaine. And that's how I came up with Tremaine. Interesting story, though. After years later, as I became a published author and I used to Google my name, Eva Tremaine, I found someone that was born over 100 years ago named Eva Tremaine on the same exact day that I was born on. So that was a little crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Eva Tremaine and with my exact birthday. So interesting.
Very. Oh, wow. Okay, so now tell us about your software consulting business.
Yeah, so I launched Tremaine IT Solutions in 2018. And my software company is a company that offers multiple services. I do website development, I do database development. If you want a mobile app, a website, a desktop application, my company can build all of that for you. In addition to developing applications, we offer services such as digital marketing. We actually will help small businesses get their LLC established professionally. We offer training, and training is one of the things that I see the biggest uptick since we've been in this COVID era, because a lot of people were forced without notice to work remote and to work on their own. So what I find is, I would say pre-COVID and where we are today, my training aspect of my company has quadrupled. And I train in everything from software applications such as Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, but I also do specialized projects. So if you're working on something and you're struggling with it, I will do a Zoom and I will help you through your project. I help students through getting through college. I have several students where I'm helping them get their masters. I do individual training as well as corporate. So I have at least 7 corporate accounts right now where I train very large groups of individuals. So if you're interested in anything related to technology, if I don't have the skill set to do it, I have consultants that I work with, so we're able to solve any of your technology needs. And the name of that company is Tremaine IT Solutions, and you can find me at tremaineitsolutions.com.
That is great. I'm very good with Microsoft Word, but Excel is still a struggle. I'm good with PowerPoint too, so I may have to
Okay. Okay.
Get a class. Most definitely got to get a
All
class.
right. But please do. Please do.
Tawanna, thank you so much. I know we did, a brief little interview on Facebook and Keeney's Corner, but I wasn't
Yes.
really able to delve into it a little bit more and to record it to share with the rest of everyone else who wanted to
Yes.
see it. I'm so happy so many people reached out to me and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed it. I really wanted to see it. She's beautiful. I want to know what's going on." So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for taking the time for this. I'm definitely looking forward to reading your new book. Seems like it's
Yes.
going to be a good one.
Yes.
And I would definitely be in touch with you for that Excel class because that's one that still tricks me up. What about QuickBooks? You do with QuickBooks as well?
Yeah, I do QuickBooks. It depends on what areas you want to focus on, but definitely shoot it over to me. I've worked with probably about 5 or 6 different soft applications related to accounting over the years. So QuickBooks is one of the ones that I've worked with. So definitely reach out to me.
With so many students working from home, how many parents how many parents don't reach out to you? Because I know that's a
You know,
struggle.
I mostly get students in like high school or college.
Okay.
And so I don't get the young ones yet, but I do teach coding for kids. And I have taught a couple classes. So I teach anywhere up until 6 years old, right on up until adulthood. So if you have a child that's eager to learn computers and how to code, definitely contact me. And I teach codes how to kid teach kids how to code, and I make it applicable to their age group. So if it's a younger child, I make it fun, interactive, colorful to keep their attention. But if you are a older child that's perhaps in high school and you really want to learn how to code, I can teach very advanced coding as well.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. So before I let you go, because you are a lady of many hats, tell us how you managed to do all of this. Your mom, your wife, your grandmom, your dog mom, your author, you
Yes.
have your regular little 9 to 5 job, you have your business. Tell us how you're able to maintain and manage and do all of this juggling.
Yes. I mean, I think first and foremost, you have to really be good about being organized.
Mhm.
I'm super organized not only in my work life, but it's applicable to my personal life. So I'm very organized, but I also prioritize. So you're never going to have your to-do list clean. You're never going to have nothing else to do. So it's really about prioritizing your different areas of work. I have time that's dedicated to my husband. I have time that's dedicated to my grandchildren, my fur baby. I have time that's dedicated to my girlfriend nights. And we have our days where we just hang out, and then there's family time, and then there's work time. And everything is prioritized and organized so that I am able to be happy just in myself. Because if you work, you will lose your joy.
Mhm.
So first and foremost, I make sure that I make time for me. I like to meditate. I pray. I do my affirmations, and I make sure that I'm balanced in order to be able to do all these other things because it starts with you first.
That is so very true. Thank you so much. Oh, wait. So we got Eva Tremaine for the books. We have Tremaine
IT
IT
solutions.
Solutions. You're in the Sugar and Spice Book Club.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Tawana. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to talking to you again.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you taking the time to interview me. I think you are making a difference in this world. I see that you are taking a lot of Black business owners and you giving them a forum and a voice. And I appreciate you for doing that. So great job and keep up the good
Thank
work.
you. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a great day. Bye,
So
everyone.